My dear friends, there is a song that only your soul can sing. It was given to you the moment you took your first breath. And yet, too often, we let the noise of the world drown out that melody. We look left and right, measuring our worth by someone else's reflection, someone else's applause, someone else's journey. But you were never called to be a shadow in someone else's light. You were born to shine with your own fire. The truth is this: when you waste your time comparing, you forget the beauty of your own becoming. The flowers do not envy the stars, nor do the rivers question the mountains. They simply live their purpose. And so must you. Embrace your unique journey. There is an unshakable truth that lives within every soul. No one else can walk your path. No one else can carry your story. No one else can breathe life into your dreams the way you can. Too often, we are taught to look outward for approval, to measure our steps against the pace of others, and to shape our lives based on the expectations of the world around us. But life is not a competition, it is a canvas. It is not about how many strokes you take, but how deeply you allow your colors to shine. There is a power in recognizing that your journey is not meant to mirror anyone else's. Each hardship you have endured, each triumph you have celebrated, and each scare you have carried was preparing you for a future that only you can create. When you spend your days comparing your chapter to someone else's, you forget that your story is still being written. You may look at someone who appears to be ahead of you, but you do not know the battles they have fought. You may see someone moving faster, but you do not know the storms they have weathered. Your task is not to follow their path, your task is to honor your own. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. It is an act of love, an act of courage. It is the understanding that in order to give your best to the world, you must first give your best to yourself. Growth does not happen when you are busy watching how someone else blooms. It happens when you water your own roots. The flower does not look to the sky and ask why the stars are brighter. The river does not look at the mountain and question its strength. They both exist, and they both serve their purpose. You, too, have a purpose that cannot be fulfilled by anyone else. There will be voices that try to distract you. Some will whisper that you are not enough, that your progress is too slow, that your dreams are too far away. But those voices have no power unless you give it to them. You have to stand firm in the belief that your journey is unfolding at the pace it was always meant to. The road may twist, it may turn, it may even break beneath your feet. But every step is carving you into the person you were born to be. When you focus on yourself, you learn to hear your own voice above the noise. You discover the quiet power of self-awareness and the strength that comes from trusting your intuition. You begin to realize that your worth is not determined by comparison, but by the effort you give, the love you share, and the resilience you carry. It is in these moments of clarity that you find your rhythm, the rhythm that belongs to no one else but you. The world does not need you to be like anyone else. It needs you to be fully and unapologetically yourself. Your light, your voice, your presence, these are the gifts only you can offer. The moment you stop chasing someone else's reflection is the moment you start to see the beauty of your own. Your journey will not look like anyone else's, and it is not supposed to. That is the very thing that makes it extraordinary. Would you like me to continue this speech into a full 1,000-word version with deeper storytelling and metaphors in Maya Angelou's style? Avoid comparison with others. Comparison is a thief that quietly steals joy, confidence, and peace. It creeps in when you are not looking, whispering that you are not enough, that someone else is living the life you should have, that their success somehow lessens your own. But you must understand that their path is not your path, and their timing is not your timing. What they are called to do has nothing to do with the purpose planted deep within you. Every time you compare yourself to another, you abandon a part of your own uniqueness, trading it for an illusion that was never meant to define you. The truth is, comparison blinds you. It makes you forget the battles you have already won, the strength you have already built, and the progress you have already made. It convinces you that your worth is measured by someone else's achievements, someone else's beauty, someone else's journey. But how can you measure the value of a mountain by the shine of a star? How can you weigh the depth of an ocean against the height of a tree? They are not meant to be compared. They are meant to exist fully, each with its own story, each with its own light. When you fix your eyes on the lives of others, you take your focus away from what is blooming within you. You waste your energy looking at the seeds in another person's garden while neglecting your own. Growth does not happen when you are constantly looking over the fence. Growth happens when you water your own soil, when you tend to your own roots, when you trust that your time to bloom will come. It is not about how fast someone else is moving. It is about how true you remain to your own path. There is freedom in letting go of comparison. There is freedom in understanding that someone else's success is not your failure. Their light does not dim yours. Their victories do not erase your potential. When you see someone soaring, let it be proof that you can soar too. Let it inspire you, but never let it make you feel less. Your journey is not late, and your story is not small. Every step you take is a step that matters, even when the world does not see it. You must learn to celebrate yourself, even in the small things. You must learn to honor the progress that no one claps for, the quiet battles you win in the dark, the moments when you rise after falling. These moments are just as valuable as the loud victories others display. Life is not a race, and it is not a competition. It is about becoming who you were meant to be, about unfolding into the fullness of your own being. When you stop comparing, you start seeing. You start seeing the blessings that were always there, the beauty that was always within you, the gifts that were always in your hands. You begin to recognize that your journey is not about keeping up with anyone else, but about moving forward with courage, with grace, and with the unshakable belief that you are enough, just as you are. Would you like me to expand the next keynote, nurture your mind, heart, and soul, into 600 words in the same tone? Nurture your mind, heart, and soul, for they are the foundation upon which every dream, every choice, and every act of courage rests. A mind left untended becomes a garden where weeds of doubt and fear grow unchecked, but a mind fed with wisdom, curiosity, and truth becomes fertile ground for ideas that can change your life. What you feed your mind will shape the way you see the world, and more importantly, the way you see yourself. You cannot grow if your mind is clouded with negativity, comparison, or self-doubt. Seek knowledge, not just from books, but from life itself. Listen to the lessons hidden in the silence, in the struggles, in the everyday moments that others overlook. Fill your mind with thoughts that uplift you, words that build you, and visions that remind you of who you are capable of becoming. To nurture your heart is to honor your emotions without letting them control you. It is about being kind to yourself when the world is not. Too often, we demand strength from our hearts without giving them space to heal. But a heart cannot give love or courage if it is cracked and forgotten. You must learn to sit with your pain and understand it, rather than running from it. You must allow yourself to feel joy fully, rather than questioning whether you deserve it. Your heart is not a weakness. It is the compass that guides you when your mind becomes clouded. Let it be tender, let it be open, let it forgive. For when you forgive others and yourself, you free your heart to beat with purpose again. Your soul, that quiet and eternal part of you, is what gives meaning to your days. Too often, we ignore the soul's whisper because we are too busy chasing the noise of the world. But the soul does not shout. It speaks softly, urging you to remember why you are here, who you are, and what truly matters. To nurture your soul is to connect with the things that bring you peace, whether it is silence, nature, prayer, music, or the simple act of being still. Your soul is where your true strength resides. If you forget to care for it, you will move through life feeling lost, no matter how much success you gain or how many goals you achieve. When you tend to your mind, heart, and soul together, you create harmony within yourself. You begin to understand that success is not only about what you achieve outwardly, but also about how you grow inwardly. It is easy to chase after the world's definition of success while neglecting your inner world, but that is like building a house on weak foundations. True power comes from being grounded, from knowing who you are even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. This is why you must take time to nurture yourself daily, in small, deliberate ways. Read words that inspire you. Speak kindly to yourself when no one is listening. Give yourself grace when you stumble, and listen to your inner voice when it tells you to pause. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot light the way for others if your own flame is dying. By caring for your mind, heart, and soul, you are not being selfish. You are preparing yourself to live fully, to love deeply, and to rise when life tries to push you down. You will find that when your inner world is whole, the outer world cannot shake you. You will face challenges with clarity, love with openness, and walk through life knowing that no matter what happens, your foundation is strong. Celebrate your personal growth, for it is the quiet and powerful evidence of your strength, your resilience, and your determination to rise beyond what once tried to hold you back. Too often, we overlook the small victories, the subtle changes that slowly shape us into someone wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. We think growth must be loud or celebrated by the world to be meaningful. But true growth often happens in silence. It happens in the moments when no one is watching, when you choose to keep going despite the fear, when you choose kindness instead of anger, when you find the courage to take one small step forward, even when the path is unclear. Growth is not always about grand accomplishments. It is about becoming someone who can face life with a deeper sense of grace and purpose. There was a time when you wished for the strength you have now, though you may not always see it. There was a time when you doubted whether you could endure what life placed before you, and yet here you are. That is growth. Celebrate the times when you learned to hold your tongue when silence was wiser than words. Celebrate the days when you chose to forgive even when anger seemed easier. Celebrate the times you stood up for yourself even when your voice shook. These moments, though they may not seem like milestones, are proof that you are growing into someone stronger and more rooted than you were before. Growth is not always comfortable. In fact, it rarely is. It demands that you step beyond what you know, that you release the old version of yourself, that you let go of habits and beliefs that no longer serve you. It can feel like losing something, but in reality, you are gaining more of yourself. You are learning who you are, what matters to you, and what you are capable of. It takes courage to face your own reflection and choose to change, to choose to become someone better, someone braver. That courage deserves to be celebrated. Sometimes growth is as simple as setting a boundary that once scared you, or saying yes to an opportunity you would have avoided in the past. Sometimes it is learning to sit with your emotions instead of running from them. Sometimes it is trusting yourself after years of doubting your own voice. These are not small things, even if they feel that way. They are signs that you are evolving, signs that you are moving closer to becoming the best version of yourself. And when you celebrate these moments, you remind yourself that every step, no matter how small, is worth acknowledging. The world will not always see the changes within you. People may not notice the battles you have fought or the storms you have weathered. But you know what it took to get here. You know the nights you cried and the mornings you chose to rise anyway. You know the fear you faced and the weight you carried. That knowing, that inner acknowledgement, is powerful. It is what gives you the strength to keep growing, to keep becoming. Do not wait for someone else to validate your progress. Do not wait for the world to applaud you. Learn to celebrate yourself. Give yourself credit for the hard work you have done, for the lessons you have learned, for the healing you are still doing. Growth is not about being perfect. It is about being willing to keep moving forward, no matter how slow the steps may feel. When you celebrate your personal growth, you honor every version of yourself that got you here, and you create space for even greater growth to come. Stand tall against doubt and fear, for they will always try to cast shadows on your path whenever you are close to something meaningful. Doubt whispers that you are not ready, that you are not enough, that you should turn back before you fail. Fear shouts that the unknown is too dangerous, too uncertain, too heavy for you to carry. Yet, neither doubt nor fear speaks the truth. They are echoes of past pain and imagined failures, illusions meant to keep you from discovering your strength. To stand tall against them is not to ignore them, but to face them with courage and remind yourself that you have walked through storms before and you will do it again. Doubt often arises when you are about to grow, when you are standing on the edge of something greater than you have known. It is the mind's way of protecting itself from what feels unfamiliar. But growth does not happen in the comfort of the familiar. It happens when you take the step that scares you, when you trust yourself even when the path ahead is unclear. To stand tall against doubt means to choose faith over hesitation, to believe that you are capable even when your mind tells you otherwise. Every time you refuse to let doubt hold you back, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you act despite the uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you are braver than you think. Fear, too, has its way of disguising itself as reason. It tells you to wait, to stay small, to avoid risks. But if you listen too closely, fear will keep you from living fully. Fear cannot stop the passing of time, but it can keep you from using that time well. The truth is, courage is not the absence of fear, it is moving forward even when fear walks beside you. When you stand tall against fear, you acknowledge its presence, but refuse to let it steer your course. You remind yourself that every great achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of transformation has always required someone to act even when they were afraid. There will be times when fear and doubt seem louder than your inner voice. On those days, you must anchor yourself in the truth of who you are and what you have already overcome. Think of the challenges you once thought were impossible, but now rest behind you as proof of your resilience. Remember that every scar, every setback, every trial has built the strength you carry today. Doubt and fear may shake you, but they cannot break you unless you surrender your power to them. You are stronger than the voices in your mind. You are more capable than the obstacles in your way. Standing tall does not mean you will never feel fear or doubt again. It means you choose not to bow to them. It means you keep moving even with trembling hands and a racing heart. It means you understand that courage grows with each step you take despite the weight of your worries. Every small act of bravery is a declaration that you refuse to let fear rule your life. Every time you silence doubt with action, you become more unshackable. To stand tall is to trust that you are exactly where you need to be, even when the path feels uncertain. It is to keep your eyes on your vision and not on the distractions that try to weaken your spirit. It is to rise again and again, knowing that fear and doubt are not signs of weakness, but signs that you are on the verge of something worth fighting for. Focus on becoming your best self, for that is the truest measure of a life well lived. It is not about being better than others, but about being better than you were yesterday. Too often, we pour our energy into proving our worth to the world instead of nurturing the qualities that make us whole. The journey toward your best self is not a race. It is a lifelong commitment to growth, learning, and self-discovery. It requires you to look inward with honesty and see both your strengths and your flaws, not as limitations but as opportunities to evolve. Every experience, whether filled with joy or pain, is a teacher shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of love and compassion. Becoming your best self means understanding that you are not defined by the mistakes of your past or the expectations of others. You are not here to fit into a mold created by society, but to carve your own path, to live a life that reflects the truth of who you are. This journey demands courage, because it asks you to let go of habits and beliefs that no longer serve you. It asks you to face the parts of yourself that you have avoided and to work on them with patience and kindness. Growth is not about perfection, it is about progress, about making choices that honor the person you are striving to become. There will be times when you feel stuck, when you doubt whether you are moving forward at all. In those moments, remind yourself that even the smallest steps matter. Change rarely happens overnight. It is in the quiet, consistent choices, the decision to wake up a little earlier, to practice gratitude, to forgive when it is hard, to keep going when you feel like giving up, that transformation takes root. Celebrate these moments, because they are proof that you are showing up for yourself, even when it would be easier not to. Focusing on your best self also means surrounding yourself with things and people that bring out your light. Energy is contagious, and if you spend your time with those who drain you, who feed your fears or insecurities, you will struggle to grow. Seek out people who inspire you, who challenge you to be better, who remind you of your potential. Likewise, let go of comparisons, because someone else's path has nothing to do with yours. The only person you need to outshine is the version of you who doubted your own power. Your best self is not only about what you achieve, but also about who you are in the quiet moments, when no one is watching. It is about the way you treat yourself, the way you speak to yourself, the way you hold yourself when life feels heavy. Do you speak words of encouragement or words of criticism? Do you offer yourself the same compassion you offer others? Learning to love yourself as you grow is one of the most powerful acts of becoming. To focus on your best self is to commit to lifelong learning, to seek knowledge, and to stay curious. It is to take care of your body, to strengthen your mind, and to nourish your spirit. It is to recognize that the journey will not always be easy, but every challenge you face is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Your best self is not a destination to reach, but a state of being that you choose every day through your actions, your thoughts, and your intentions.